The following is paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network. You're listening to Real Estate Radio Fresno on News Talk 580 KMJ and 105.9 the FM KMJ. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Craig Barton.
Johnny and I are solving the problems of the world this morning, aren't we, John? It's going to be 10 hot. The sun's out. That's why Glenn's here. Glenn Siemens, CEO and owner of Arise Solar.
Woo-hoo.
Woo-woo.
Come on, sun.
Good morning, Central California. Yes, we don't even have to pray for the sun. We're very fortunate. As a matter of fact, today, actually not today and today only. What did you say? If the sun doesn't come out tomorrow, and we're not singing the song from Annie, but if the sun doesn't come out tomorrow, you've got a money-back guarantee going.
I do. If the sun does not show up in the morning, I'll triple your money back.
Triple your money back. You heard it here on Real Estate Radio Fresno.
That's right. Because we'll be dead.
We'll be dead.
I just need to put that disclaimer
in there.
in there.
Glenn, you didn't say the rest of that before we came on the air. See, I'm just not that bright. Thanks so much for joining us. It's Sunday morning. It's 9 o'clock. What's that?
Does the music usually play this long?
No, Johnny's being kind. He's afraid I'm going to break into song in a second here.
Thank you. Sorry, I just need some clarity.
Thanks so much for joining us. It's Sunday morning, and it's 9 o'clock, and it's Real Estate Radio Fresno. Thanks so much.
And the music stopped.
And the music stopped. There you go. Here in the studio with us, Johnny B behind the mics. How you doing, buddy? Phenomenal. Yeah, as always. As we mentioned, Glenn Siemens, CEO and owner of Arise Solar. He's going to tell us how he makes the sun come out every single morning.
You bet.
Yeah, it's
all up to me.
It's all up to Glenn. And it's
what power?
You've been working overtime lately.
Yes, he has. He's accomplished more this year than he did last year already.
Well, our slogan is connecting you to a higher power. There's two meanings to that.
I love the play on words. Mm-hmm. Tim O'Hare, our licensed mortgage pro.
Good morning,
What's
everyone.
new in the mortgage business this morning, Tim?
What's new?
Okay, hold on here. That was a loaded question. Sorry.
It's always new.
It's always new.
Every day's a new challenge.
A new set of challenges. I hear you. And Lisa Casso.
Good morning.
Client Care Coordinator.
Oh,
That's technical for our client mommy.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing phenomenal. It's going to be hot today, but that's okay. Hot pays. Right, Glenn?
Mm-hmm. It pays very well.
I bet your phone's ringing off the hook right now.
Well, how much am I supposed to disclose?
Yeah.
Well, this is real estate. You have to disclose everything.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's just solar related. Nothing,
Yeah, it's amazing how when the sun comes out and the air conditioners turn on and the phone calls start ringing.
I can imagine.
Because people get tired of paying that $1,000 monthly bill.
It's amazing.
But today they don't have to call you. They can come visit you, can't they?
They can.
Where?
Yep. In fact, our address is 2565 Alluvial Avenue, Suite 152 in Clovis.
But that's tomorrow. Where are you today?
Today we are at the home show.
Right
so
on.
you can come out and see us there. We have two booths, one inside, one outside.
I want to be in the inside one if I work for you.
That's right.
In the quiet confines of the Fresno Fairgrounds. Yeah, home show. Mm-hmm. My wife and I are planning on going this afternoon.
Fun.
We really?
No,
I love it.
I love it.
That's right.
Take
In
an
fact,
umbrella.
People should come by and grab our squishy sunnies. I'm going to hand these out to you right now. In fact, on the back of it, you'll notice there's a hashtag Spread Sunshine, and this is a program we've developed to pay it forward. So the idea is you take that and you go to Starbucks and you give $5 to the person behind you and give that to them, and they take a picture and go to hashtag Spread Sunshine, and
I love that.
Great marketing idea.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
What a great idea.
You can even take that to Paris, too, if you want, and take a picture and tell us that Sonny got to Paris.
Awesome.
How did
so when we don't have to give them this with the $5. We do, right?
You do, yeah. So give us a call, and we'll mail you a bunch of them.
Awesome. You know where we're
Or
at.
come by the booth, and we'll give you a bunch of them.
There you go. There you go. So today, if you didn't make it out to the Fresno Home Show today, Fresno Home Show, look up Arise Solar.
You got it.
Yeah, you're not done, buddy. You can't leave yet.
Okay.
No.
The Real Estate Radio Network gives us the opportunity to reach so many people efficiently for 1 full hour each and every week. Our goal at the Real Estate Radio Network is to get you, our listeners, the timely and accurate truth about your local real estate market. We're also going to tell you what the big banks on Wall Street don't want you to hear, so we can help bring you back home.
You were looking at me like
I was looking at you. But
I was reading. I was distracted by the sun.
On today's show, well, Citibank is in the news again, and there's $7 billion. Yes, I said $7 billion with a B. That's 999 million
plus
times 7 plus another a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, 7 billion reasons why they hopefully won't repeat what they did, I guess, the first go-around as far as selling some poor mortgage-backed securities to the secondary market. And new home buyers, if you had to choose, is it schools or pools?
Are you joking?
I kid you not.
I love it how, it's clearly obvious that we don't know what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Because I read that and I went, what?
Exactly. And as we mentioned, we have Glenn Siemens here to talk about the sun coming out and also tell you, our listeners, why so many folks are going solar. And I guess the next question is why aren't you? We're also going to take some listener questions, so make sure you stay with us. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or questions about a topic that, let's say, might be challenging you in your world, let's say you have a question about getting a loan. You can contact us, and we'll put you in contact with Tim. Or let's say you have an issue with your credit bureau, and you need some help as far as getting your scores up. We'll put you in contact with Keith Taylor with J.L. Taylor & Associates. They are our credit restoration experts. Or let's say you have a question about, you listened to last week's show and you have a question about estates, and you're really curious how you make sure that your heirs get your stuff and not a big attorney bill. And it's very, very true, because we had Susan Pascuzzi from Pascuzzi and Stoker in the studio this last weekend, and she did a phenomenal job.
I liked it. She kind of simplified it too.
Well, it made it simple and also very comfortable. I felt very comfortable talking to Susan.
Well, it wasn't an easy thing to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that we're mortal.
We did try to liven up the fact that last Sunday's talk was about death and dying, unfortunately.
Yes.
So,
yes.
If you do have a question that's affecting your world, give us a call anytime, on air, off air, anytime. Did I mention anytime? I
think you said anytime.
I think I said anytime a couple times. 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. We'd love to field your phone calls. Take us with you wherever you go and listen to us on your smartphone right now at kmjnow.com. You can also check out our resources and listen to past shows from the Real Estate Radio Network. You can also check out our resources and search for your next home. It's a free service. Go to ValleyWideSells.com. Well, today's hot property is brought to you by Win Home Inspections. Whether it's residential, multifamily, well, give our buddy Bert Welsh a call for all your home inspection needs. You can contact Bert at 559-363-4080. Again, that's 559-363-4080. Well, today's hot property is 811 Claremont. This former model home, 2,797 square feet, 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-story home built in 2005 on a 7,800 square foot lot. Features over $80,000. Yes, I did say over $80,000 in builder upgrades. You can't build this home with all the upgrades for exactly what it cost the builder nowadays. You really can't. This is a former model home. If you'd like more information about today's hot property, or you'd like to schedule a private showing, give me a call, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. This property is listed right now for $299,900. We'll send you more information about this hot property right to your phone. Look for more hot properties each week right here on the Real Estate Radio Network. Well, top stories in the news, 1,932 active listings. We continue to limp along at a very modest increase as far as active inventory in Fresno County, which means, again, there is greater balance or equilibrium that we continue to see in the market, which is, I think, a very, very good thing. We're averaging roughly 550 closings per month year to date, and less than 8% of our inventory is either an REO, which is a foreclosure, or a short sale, which I think bodes extremely well for the market. What that does, or what that tells me, is the market is slowly but surely
increasing,
healing.
People have equity again.
People have equity, and that's so if they want to, as an example, if they want to borrow monies to install a solar generating system on their roof, more folks nowadays have the opportunity to be able to do that.
And you don't even need equity either anymore to do that.
That's a very good point. So in today's top stories, Citigroup is is only the largest target of our Justice Department, and it's likely not the last to show up in the headlines. On the same day that Citi reported second quarter earnings, and they were in positive territory. They were until this came out. The bank and the Department of Justice on Monday of this past week separately announced details of their long-awaited settlement of claims related to the sale of faulty mortgage securities. The deal includes a $4 billion civil penalty that's paid directly to the Department of Justice, the Department of Judges, the largest of its kind. That is amazing. A $4 billion civil penalty. In addition, $2.5 billion that Citi must set aside to actually help consumers. Now, what I also don't see there is I don't understand why
the Department of Justice is getting all the money. Yeah,
exactly, is getting more than those monies that should be set aside for helping consumers. And $500 million it's owed to several states and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. The payments resolve a whole host of state and federal claims over how the bank packaged and sold mortgage-related assets that unfortunately soured during the crisis.
And there still won't be any criminal activity either.
Well, you bring up a really good point, Timmer. I appreciate you saying that, because you still, to this day, do not see one individual, Andrew Mazzillo as an example, that was all of Countrywide basically was gutted and sold to Bank of America. Some would say that Andrew Mazzillo should probably be at the top of the or at the front of the line when it comes time to have that conversation as far as criminal charges.
Activity. Yeah, it's interesting.
I'm not saying that Andrew does anything bad by any stretch of the imagination, but if you've ever seen him walk through the lobby at the San Diego Convention Center, not saying that I have, but just by the look of his entourage, it gets a little, it feels bad. Just say that.
More gangster-like?
You said it, Tim, not me. It was just uncomfortable.
Was this just a whole hypothetical thing that you
No,
just
it was
played
actually
out for the radio?
it actually happened in 2004 at a National Mortgage Bankers Convention. It was very, very interesting. I felt like I was, I don't know, back in New York and just after the turn of the century in the 1900s.
Your name was Bugsy?
Yeah, I'm a Bugsy. Did I get a gun? So schools or pools? Which one is it going to be, new home buyers? Well, 3 out of 5 home buyers say school attendance boundaries would be a major factor in choosing a home. I would have to say that depending upon your circumstances, whether kids go
depending
to school,
upon where it is geographically.
Absolutely. A majority even say they'd be willing to pay above budget or give up some amenities. That's the question, school or pool. Are you willing to give up the pool for the right school district?
Sure.
To ensure that their children attend the school of their choice. Well, 23, I found this to be very interesting. 23.6 of those surveyed would pay somewhere between 1% and 5% above budget. 20.7 would pay 6 to 10% above budget, and 9% would pay somewhere between 11 and 20% above their budget. So 53.3% of those surveyed would actually pay above budget to ensure that their kids go to the school district of their choice. I found that very interesting. 40.3 said no.
They're going to have the pool.
Yeah, they'll take the pool over the school. It'd be interesting why. My question to those folks would be, what motivates you as far as...
But we have to remember that are we only talking to people who have school-age children?
Absolutely.
Because some of us in the world don't.
Right.
Yay. Yay. But this poll was only of people with children? Because if that's the case, I'm not happy.
Yeah, you know what? I'm
disappointed.
No, it's an interesting question. I can't say that it is, the survey was of folks that did or did not have questions, or had children, excuse me, not questions.
I'm going to hope that it was just a broad range of people, because 3 out of 5 that are more concerned with amenities than education makes me sad.
Yeah.
All right, done.
You've spoken your piece.
Sorry.
If you're thinking of selling your home but not sure what professional to ask what your home is worth, well, we have a solution for you. This is a free service. Just go to ValleyWideHomeValues.com. Again, that's ValleyWideHomeValues.com. Just go down about 2/3 of the way down the page to the right-hand side. Click on what your home is worth. Tell us a little bit about your property. And this will generate a totally and completely free market analysis to help you decide, hey, or at least to give you some perspective right at the moment, what your home is worth, or at least, at the very least, create a conversation that you can help to tell us more about your property, because it might be, like when I was on Chris Daniels' show a few weeks back, it might be something that's unique. It might be, as Chris calls it, a compound up in the hills. Just go to Valleywide Home Values for your free market analysis. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions, or questions regarding the information that we share with you on our show, or let's say it's about solar, it just so happens that that's what we're talking about on today's show, give us a call anytime, 800-979-3958. And I did say anytime, didn't I, Lisa?
You did.
800-979-3958. Take us with you wherever you go and listen to us on your smartphone right now at kmjnow.com. You can also go to our website and search for your next home at valleywidesells.com. Well, coming up, as we mentioned, we have CEO and owner Glenn Siemens of Arise Solar here in the studio today. And, we're going to talk about solar and just exactly why it makes so much sense for you to talk to Glenn today. It might even be down at the home show. Could be. You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping you to redefine real estate here on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer, at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989. Or use press 4 keywords, Arise Solar.
Rick Ransom, a local guy, began his career in mortgage lending in 1989. In 91, he became one of the first reverse mortgage lenders in California. Since that time, he's helped hundreds of seniors with reverse mortgages and other senior-related issues. And he's one of the few in this business who is a CPA.
This is Rick Ransom. Much of what you hear on TV and radio is not altogether true. There is misinformation. A reverse mortgage can help you supplement your retirement, pay off your existing mortgage or credit cards, even purchase a new home. If you're ready for a free face-to-face meeting with someone with 45 years experience in the application process, call me at 221-5355. That's 221-5355. I look forward to meeting with you.
DRE number 513201, NMLS number 240770.
When it comes to investing in wealth management, you can find good counsel from someone at a local office for a Wall Street firm. And if you do well, a main office in New York does well. However, we at Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group offer a very different choice. Our associates offer Wall Street experience from an independent, local company. We answer to you, not New York. Thies & Duker's owners, associates, and staff members live right here. We're your neighbors.
I'm Tom Morgan, a financial consultant with Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group. I recently joined Thies & Duker because I wanted to serve my clients in an independent firm that truly values clients, families, and this community. If that's what you're looking for too, give me a call at 448-8190.
Feel right at home at Thies & Duker. Visit us online at thiesenduker.com. THIESENDUEKER.com.
The consultants at Thies & Duker are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
All it takes is one call to the professionals at Valleywide Homes, and you'll start building wealth in real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let Craig and his team at Valleywide help. There's never been a better time to get into the real estate market. Start the search for your next home by visiting our website at valleywidesells.com or call toll-free 800-979-3958. That's 800-979-3958, and put the seasoned professionals at Valleywide Homes to work for you.
You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, folks, as we mentioned, we're very, very fortunate. We've got a friend of the show, a very good friend of the show, Glenn Siemens, the CEO and owner of Arise Solar. That's a dramatic pause.
You make me sound important.
Yeah. Glenn was wondering for a second there. So are you going to continue my introduction, or are we going to just pause?
Yeah.
He looked a little uptight. Glad I could help to wake you up this Sunday morning.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being here, buddy.
You bet.
You know, it's always great to have a conversation about solar. And folks, it's important that we bring to light, obviously, or maybe we address some of the misconceptions as far as solar is concerned and help to educate our listeners on a consistent basis about just exactly how beneficial solar can be as far as your bottom line, or your bottom line as far as your bill is concerned. And one of the things we'll talk about in a moment is motivation as to why so many folks should make sure they're making that phone call to Glenn at Arise. I want to talk first. I want to share a story. I was out showing properties to some friends recently, and this particular property, to give you a little background, this property was 3,400 square feet above ground. It was 918 square feet below ground, and it had solar. It also had a pool. So, mind you, the first potential thought going through any potential buyer's mind is, wow, this sucker is going to be really difficult and expensive to heat, or at this particular time, it was a very muggy Sunday afternoon that we were actually looking at the property. It's going to be expensive to heat or to cool, and we know that our bill is X number of dollars. We don't have solar on our current house, which is a 2-story house. But this, I don't know if this is going to work for us. Immediately, before we go in, we're having this conversation. This could be expensive, an expensive proposition. Well, there was it just so happens that there is a solar array positioned on the back portion of the roof. You can't even tell, and it's a beautiful, beautiful colonial-looking home. It felt like this particular day that you were back east somewhere, and one of the things that they had, that the sellers had sitting on their kitchen table, was a copy of their PG&E bill. And we knew going in, based upon the information that was disclosed on the listing, that it was $171 a month for the lease, and that's really all we knew, is the monthly payment as far as the lease is concerned, but also that their monthly bill was roughly $25 a month, and that was the gas portion of their bill. So my whole point when we're talking about, and I like to start with a story, is, you know, you take solar and you take a house that really just appears that it could be just a real pain in the butt to heat and to cool, and just an expensive proposition, and it takes that house from something that I don't know that we can do this, to, wow, this is a whole lot more affordable than what I thought it was going to be. And I say that because I think it's important that folks understand that solar is an extremely important component in everyone's future. It's just a matter of how quickly you get on board.
Yeah. Well, solar electricity, since we're not talking about heating the pool at this point, but solar electricity makes that type of house affordable. Because I know one of the things we're going to talk about is the CPUC just approved another rate increase for PG&E, so they're drastically changing the rate structures.
So the California Public Utilities Commission has said you guys are going to pay more.
Yeah, well, on average, PG&E raises their rates 3.7 times a year. They've already done it twice. The third one has been approved, and it's coming on very shortly.
Wow.
But what we're getting at is you're talking about a home that they're thinking of buying. So if people give us a call, we can actually do a pre-site analysis, I want to say, and tell them how large of a system we can put on, how much power it will put out, and help them sort of understand what their electric energy costs would be if they put solar on versus not doing it. So they can budget that in and have an idea.
So it's really important for our listeners to make a mental note, as well as those agents that might be helping buyers here in the Central Valley, that is a service to determine whether that home, how solar ready that home can be, how much of it, as you mentioned, how large of an array you can place on the property, and really what kind of good things you can do to hopefully make that bill go away.
Yeah, and at that time they can decide whether they want to roll the cost into the equity, or they want to do it as a non-secured loan, or whether they want to lease it. A bunch of different options for them that we can provide.
Awesome deal. So a couple questions that I had with regards to what are some of the advances, and I don't necessarily mean, what are some of the changes that you've seen in solar that are year to date that's noteworthy as far as homeowners are concerned? Has there been many changes as far as solar goes?
Well, that's a broad question.
Yeah.
Probably the one that will interest most homeowners right now is currently if you pay for a system and you own it, you get a property tax exemption on the cost of that system until the year 2016. Well, that has now been changed, and that's now been pushed out all the way to the year 2025.
Nice.
So if you put solar on a home and you own it, you have no increase in real property tax until 2025. That's huge.
Wow.
So that just came out. So that's a big deal. So if you buy a home and put a pool on it and you spend $60,000, well, you just raise your property tax. With solar, you don't.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's huge. And then the other is the electric rates that are coming. So, like I said, the CPUC approved a rate change, and those are basically what's happened is they finally allowed Tier 1 and Tier 2, which is your baseline and Tier 2, to finally, for the cost for that electricity to be raised. It hadn't been able to be raised for like 8 to 10 years. They've now approved that rate increase, and it's coming. So
how convenient.
Yeah.
That was thoughtful of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, they're trying to make this sustainable. So what they've had in place really hasn't been sustainable as solar continues to grow and expand. I mean, just look around. Every other house, not every house, but every house in an area now has solar on it, and you're just going to see more and more of that because the cost for electricity has now hit what we call grid parity. The cost you pay for electricity from solar equals what you pay from PG&E. It's a no-brainer anymore. It's just
right. So
you're going to spend money for PG&E anyway. Just put it in the form of a payment to solar, and you own the system. You own your electricity. So that's what's happened with that.
What types of estimates are there right at the moment in terms of saturation as far as the population, residential population in California? What percentage of homes right at the moment have solar? And is there any projections in terms of where we will be in 5, 7, 10
Oh, yeah,
years?
the projections are off the charts. I mean, they're still saying I don't have that information in front of me. But if you look at the saturation, you're still like 1%, 2%. The amount of homes with solar is still minimal, very minimal.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Because you really do see that there's so many properties out there. It's not every other property, but so many homes out there do have solar on them.
Right, but you still have a lot of homes that necessarily you can't put solar on because of trees.
Gotcha.
Now, I am noticing some larger solar companies that are ignoring that rule of you have to have sun on your panels to produce electricity.
It does help.
They're putting, I don't know if you see them. You see panels right that's got this huge 60-foot pine tree, and there's panels fully shaded, and it's 12 o'clock.
Right.
And I'm going, okay, well, that's not going to work.
Not real efficient.
But I guess we've got good salesmen out there somewhere. So I would not put that on. That I could not morally feel good about myself putting that on. So.
And part of it is because every single one of your salespeople carries a chainsaw in the back trunk. Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm being facetious. I am totally being facetious. But when you got to move the tree, you got to move the tree.
Solar needs sun. If your roof doesn't get sun, don't put solar on it.
There you go. So that's some of the sound advice we'll hear from Glenn this morning. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Just totally kidding. So in terms of we talk about motivation as far as folks that are potentially interested in when folks are motivated based upon looking at rates and what have you, or looking at PG&E's rates and slowly but surely rising, and like you mentioned, grid parity, it makes more sense now than it ever has. What does the process look like? When someone calls your company, 559-449-8989, what happens? How does the process look?
Well, the first thing we do is we ask for their address, and then we bring up a satellite view so we can see their home to see if they have trees or not, and whether they're willing to cut them. The second one is we ask for their kilowatt-hour usage, how much electricity have they used in the past year. That will really determine for us how large of a system we need to design. And really the other is what do they want to do with solar? Do they want to eliminate their electric bill? Do they want to do a portion of it? Are they interested in leasing, purchasing? There's those kind of things. We try to custom design a system for what meets their needs, not our needs.
Right,
we're trying to match for them.
And also given like you had mentioned, how their home is situated, how much roof line they have, because they may not be able to. If they've got trees in front and their roof line or their house faces a certain way, it may not be totally and completely efficient for them to.
Yeah, well, then that brings in the quality of the product.
There you go.
So we have the ability to bring in the absolute best product available on the planet, which is a SunPower product. We also have the ability to bring in the lower cost stuff if you don't necessarily need to have that kind of power. So it just really, whatever fits their roof line on that.
You can basically customize it.
Yep.
But you have to call first, though.
I don't have to call you.
No,
they
have
call
to call
us. Yes, that's correct.
They have to call. Well, again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or a question about a topic, or let's say it's specifically related to you maybe had someone from another solar company canvass your neighborhood and ask you some questions, and you weren't quite sure, and you wanted to get in contact with Glenn, give us a call, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. Take us with you wherever you go and listen to us on your smartphone at kmjnow.com. You can also check out our resources online and search for your next home by going to valleywidesells.com. Well, after the break, we're going to continue our conversation with Glenn Siemens from Arise Solar to help shed some light on, so what are the most common ways that folks will acquire solar or finance solar? Make sure you stay with us. You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping you to redefine real estate here on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer, at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989, or use press 4 keywords Arise Solar.
Rick Ransom, a local guy, began his career in mortgage lending in 1989. In 91, he became one of the first reverse mortgage lenders in California. Since that time, he's helped hundreds of seniors with reverse mortgages and other senior-related issues. And he's one of the few in this business who is a CPA.
This is Rick Ransom. Much of what you hear on TV and radio is not altogether true. There is misinformation. A reverse mortgage can help you supplement your retirement, pay off your existing mortgage or credit cards, even purchase a new home. If you're ready for a free face-to-face meeting with someone with 45 years experience in the application process, call me at 221-5355. That's 221-5355. I look forward to meeting with you.
DRE number 513201, NMLS number 240770.
When it comes to investing and wealth management, you can find good counsel from someone at a local office for a Wall Street firm. And if you do well, a main office in New York does well. However, we at Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group offer a very different choice. Our associates offer Wall Street experience from an independent, local company. We answer to you, not New York. Thies & Duker's owners, associates, and staff members live right here. We're your neighbors.
I'm Tom Morgan, a financial consultant with Duker Financial Consulting Group. I recently joined Duker because I wanted to serve my clients in an independent firm that truly values clients, families, and this community. If that's what you're looking for too, give me a call at 448-8190.
Feel right at home at Duker. Visit us online at thiesenduker.com. THIESENDUEKER.com.
The consultants at Duker are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
All it takes is one call to the professionals at Valleywide Homes, and you'll start building wealth in real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let Craig and his team at Valleywide help. There's never been a better time to get into the real estate market. Start the search for your next home by visiting our website at valleywidesells.com or call toll-free 800-979-3958. That's 800-979-3958, and put the seasoned professionals at Valleywide Homes to work for you.
You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network with local experts Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, as we mentioned, we have Glenn Siemens from Arise Solar here in the studio, don't we, John? Yes, we do. Before the break, we were talking about energy rates, and Glenn is going to get into a little greater detail as to why the tiers are changing. I think the tiers are going to create tears, to be quite honest.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, there you go. But talk to us real quickly about net energy metering and the contract changing and why so many of our listeners should really be paying attention and making that call to you.
Yeah, the CPUC has approved a change in the contract that people sign with utilities when they go solar. The reason for that is the current contract in place isn't sustainable for solar to continue at the expansion rate that it is. The utility basically refund us too much of the money when they have to pay us or credit us at the same rate they charge us.
Gotcha.
So when they have these very high rates and they're crediting us at 34 cents a kilowatt hour, they can't keep that when all of a sudden you get 10 or 12% saturation for solar.
Gotcha.
So to make this solar program sustainable, they're changing that contract. So what's happening is about another year and a half, you're going to see the contract change from what's currently called NEM.1. It's going to go to NEM.2. So you want the NEM.1 contract, which states the utilities have to credit you at the same rate they charge you. That's what you want, because when your system is over-generating a lot of electricity, you want to be credited at that very high rate for electricity. When NEM.2 comes in, most likely you're not going to be that great of a contract. It will still probably be okay, but not as advantageous as it is now.
As it is currently.
The first contract, how long is that? Forever?
No, it's for 20 years. So if you lock in at NEM.1 for the next 20 years, you will be credited at the same rate you're charged for excess power production.
And when's the anticipation date for the second one?
It's hard to say. It has to do when we hit certain milestones. So we're thinking about a year, maybe a year and a half before those milestones are hit, and then it moves. So what has happened now is CPUC has approved NEM.2 concept. But the rate change that are happening with PG&E is what they've finally done is they've allowed the baseline in Tier 2 to finally be increased. So the rate increase is not hit yet, but keep an eye on your bill. Another month or two is probably going to hit, where baseline is going to go from 13 cents up to 14 cents. Tier 2 is going from 15 cents to 17 cents. But you get less baseline quantities for that usage. So to try to keep this simple, what it means is you're going to now have more expensive electricity and move into it sooner. So if you had maybe an $80 electric bill before, you're probably going to have a 94% electric bill now. The lower costs have gone up about 8% when that kicks in.
That's encouraging.
So hopefully I'm explaining this correctly.
No, I get it. They just need to call.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So talk to us about, so bottom line, we've got the net energy metering .1 contract that's going to be changing, and folks can lock themselves in.
Right.
We've got the California Public Utilities Commission that is changing is changing all of the rates, but the Tier 1 and Tier 2 are the biggest ones that we see that are changing. talk to us about some of the technological advances that you've seen as far as solar edge is concerned.
Yeah, the newest technology, microinverters used to be the new technology. Been out for a while. They're, my opinion, sort of the old hat now. There's a newer technology that is called, it's a solar edge system. It uses what are things called DC optimizers. And to try to keep it as simple as I can, microinverters would be a little tiny inverter that you put on the panel up on the roof underneath each panel. So it converted the DC power coming out of the panel into AC power right on top of the roof.
Gotcha.
And then it sent it down to your box. Well, in reality, you really don't need the AC conversion at every single panel up on the roof. What you need up there is a little tiny device that does what's called MPP tracking. I don't want to get too technical on that. But that little device up there makes that panel put out the most efficient power as possible when it's shaded, gets dirty, and all that kind of stuff. That's the only little thing you really need on the roof. And it's a little tiny circuit board. So what the DC optimizers do is they put that little device under every single panel. And then they shoot that DC power to a string inverter, which had been around for 40, 50 years, a long track record, good history, and it converts it from DC power to AC power at that inverter inside your garage,
Gotcha.
out of the sun, where it's cooler. And so it really takes the best of both worlds and puts those two together. So this system has been in Europe for quite a while. It's now finally coming into the United States. So this is really where my company's going as far as that kind of technology. It's the Solar Edge DC optimizers. Those are awesome. They're a whole lot less money. You can expand them a lot easier. There's tons of great things about it.
Lots of great stuff you can do with it.
Right. So that's the new technology that we're looking at.
Very
at
interesting.
that point.
You know, before we came in, we came into the studio. We were having a conversation, and all of a sudden, again, I say this consistently. I'm not that bright. I just try hard. And Glenn was making a comment that as we've gotten to grid parity as far as solar is concerned, ultimately buying the system just makes far more sense, or paying cash. Mm-hmm. And I made the comment, well, is it because we've been through what we've been through over the last 8 years or so here in the Central Valley with regards to the housing crisis? And he says, no, it's just the same old adage is that paying cash will always be better. Now, whether you're paying cash, because that isn't necessarily just what that means. If you're paying cash for a system, great. If you are able to, if you don't have the cash, but you're able to just finance it, like get a loan for whatever the cost of the system is over a finite period of time. And it's an installment loan. You pay X payment over X period of time, and then you're done. At that point, you can, without fail, guarantee that you're not going to have to spend any more for that particular system, other than annual maintenance as far as keeping the panels clean, correct?
Right, and that really is the only maintenance you have. So like we're talking with the Solar Edge system, our system comes with a 25-year warranty on the panels and a 25-year warranty on the optimizers and the inverters. You have a 25-year manufacturer warranty, so if something goes bad, they'll replace it. I mean,
pretty amazing.
Yeah, there's really no need for what I see the leasing so-called advantages, I guess what I'm trying to get on that. Right.
Leasing definitely makes, and it's important to note, a lease is like renting, and it definitely makes it more affordable. I'd have to say the last 3 or 4 vehicles that I have, giving an example, personal example, that I've leased, I've leased, or that I've driven, I should say. I leased. It is like renting. You don't owe it. There's a buyout at the end, or you have to flip it over into financing, or whatever you do at that particular point in time. But if you can pay cash, or you can finance it with an installment loan, or better yet, you could talk to Tim and pull cash out. If you did, if you had equity as far as your home is concerned, and you needed to pull cash out, you could do that.
Right. Yeah. Well, what's happened is there was a research done recently by Green Tech Media, and they found that of those people that went solar, 63% of them would rather own a system than lease it. What's happened, though, is the reason leasing has come in so strong is that was really the only financing product that was available to do solar with nothing down at a decent monthly payment. Well, now that the banks have finally seen what leasing has done, they're now stepping up and saying, okay, we'll give you a 20-year loan payment also. You own it. You take the tax credits. And you know what? We'll warranty the production for 20 years, and we'll also guarantee the system for 20 years. So,
that's great.
So the cash financing has now come out, and it's available to where you can have both options now. If you want to lease, great, you can do that. But if you want to own it and take care of the advantages, your payment for that is really the same as a lease. But at the end of the 20 years, you own it.
This might be a silly question, but is there a lease option to buy?
Yes. There is at the end, but you don't know what the value of it is. Mm-hmm. In order for it to be a true lease, it has to be the fair market value of whatever the system is at the end of 20 years.
So you can't establish that at the beginning of the lease?
No, there's a number that's given, but it's
I'm just trying to negotiate a little bit.
You have to pay the higher of.
Okay.
So if the end of the lease says that the system is $10,000, you're going to pay the higher of the fair market value or that $10,000, whatever it is at the end of 20 years.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Right. So to also give our listeners a little bit of a tidbit of something we'll talk about that's new, but we'll talk about in the future, but we'll just kind of tease them right at the moment. Mm-hmm. Talk about battery storage as it relates to solar.
Yep. That is coming on strong, really exciting. There is battery storage that's going to be coming available for residential and commercial systems, and the concept behind that is instead of backfeeding your power to the grid when you're overproducing, you're going to be charging batteries that you have at your own location, and then your home will be using that power in the evenings, or when the AC turns on, you'll pull power out of that. Nice. So the cool thing about that is a lot of these batteries will be coming as an aftermarket from all of the 160,000 electric cars in the United States. Those batteries will last about 8 years, and then they have to be replaced. When those batteries come out of the cars, guess where they're going to end up? In your home as backup batteries for solar systems. Wow. Nice. So that's pretty cool.
Talk about creating a market from a market.
Yeah. So,
very interesting.
So that's coming. It's not quite available yet, but it's getting there pretty quick. So awesome. We are very actively looking at that and seeing how we can make that work. So we will probably put a system on my home first. Make sure we know how this thing works and get all the
field test it first.
That's right.
Is that something that's actually available at the market right now, or is it just in the talks and trying to get it so it's...
Well, I just came back from Intersolar 2014, and the batteries are there. We can get them. I don't have exact pricing yet, and whether the utilities will authorize you to turn it on yet. The CPUC has now told the utilities they have to, because there have been some systems that have been installed. The utility said, nope, we're not going to turn you on. Well, the CPU said, yes, you do, you have to, but we haven't got the date of when that comes in yet. So we got to get all that in place before we say, okay, we're ready to sell it to you.
You know, just think right at the moment when Glenn was making a comment earlier about how much things have changed, new technology that's coming onto the scene, how solar is becoming just so much greater in demand. We've got utility rates that are increasing. And you think of, and I say this, you think of if 1%, or roughly 1% of the population has solar, just think of how amazing this industry is going to be. It's amazing already as it stands today. But all the changes that you can imagine will take place, incentives that you'll have in place. It boggles my mind to think, wow, at some point down the road, what it's really going to look like. It's great today, and you can definitely lock in some of your savings today and put you in a much better position as far as your utility bill is concerned, so that you no longer have to compete with the Public Utilities Commission or your power provider. But it's exciting, I guess, to see what will be coming on the horizon as technology continues to advance.
Right. I mean, like, for example, what I'm excited about in my house, my solar loan will be paid off in another year. Okay, I put it on 2007. Here we're at 2014.
Nice.
So when that's done, I have no PG&E bill and no no loan payment. Woohoo! I mean, what
a great deal.
I can start saving a whole bunch of money.
He's back in the saving graces as far as his wife's concerned, because she told me that at the time she wasn't so sure, but now it's looking pretty good for Glenn. So if anyone does have a question, let's say you're listening to or within earshot as far as the shows today, or maybe you're listening to it on your smartphone at kmjnow.com, give Glenn a call. Again, Glenn Siemens, the CEO and owner of Arise Solar, 559-449-8989. Again, 559-449-8989. Or let's say you've got some time on your hands and you'd like to go down to the Fresno Fairgrounds and spend a little time down strolling the plaza down there and seeing exactly what everyone's got to offer, but also taking some time to drop by the Arise Solar booth. You can talk to our friends down at Arise Solar and have them walk you through exactly what the process would look like.
And you can pick up your sunny, squishy sun.
Squishy. It's an amazing marketing idea.
Isn't that a neat little thing?
Boy.
That is great.
I hope the person that thought this up is getting
So you
raised.
can actually go to our Facebook page and see all of these and get more information on that, too, if you want. Yep.
So it would be facebook.com/Arise Solar. Correct? No?
If I knew anything about Facebook, I could tell you. But I have fabulous people that do that
you
for
can
me.
Search it. I know you can search it under Arise Solar because I've found it before myself. Well, Glenn, thanks so much for being here today. Again, after the break, we are going to take some listener questions. Make sure you stay with us. You are listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping you to redefine real estate here on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989. Or use press 4 keywords, Arise Solar.
Rick Ransom, a local guy, began his career in mortgage lending in 1989. In 91, he became one of the first reverse mortgage lenders in California. Since that time, he's helped hundreds of seniors with reverse mortgages and other senior-related issues. And he's one of the few in this business who is a CPA.
This is Rick Ransom. Much of what you hear on TV and radio is not altogether true. There is misinformation. A reverse mortgage can help you supplement your retirement, pay off your existing mortgage or credit cards, even purchase a new home. If you're ready for a free face-to-face meeting with someone with 45 years experience in the application process, call me at 221-5355. That's 221-5355. I look forward to meeting with you.
DRE number 513201, NMLS number 240770.
When it comes to investing and wealth management, you can find good counsel from someone at a local office for a Wall Street firm. And if you do well, a main office in New York does well. However, we at Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group offer a very different choice. Our associates offer Wall Street experience from an independent, local company. We answer to you, not New York. Thies & Duker's owners, associates, and staff members live right here. We're your neighbors.
I'm Tom Morgan, a financial consultant with Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group. I recently joined Thies & Duker because I wanted to serve my clients in an independent firm that truly values clients, families, and this community. If that's what you're looking for too, give me a call at 448-8190.
Feel right at home at Thies & Duker. Visit us online at thiesandduker.com. THIESENDUEKER.com.
The consultants at Thies & Duker are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
All it takes is one call to the professionals at Valley White Homes, and you'll start building wealth in real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let Craig and his team at Valley White help. There's never been a better time to get into the real estate market. Start the search for your next home by visiting our website at valleywidesells.com or call toll-free 800-979-3958. That's 800-979-3958, and put the seasoned professionals at Valley White Homes to work for you.
You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, as I mentioned before the break, we were going to, when we got back, where'd we get back from? We were going to take some listener questions. Pete from Visalia, my wife and I are looking to buy our first home. Craig, are there any deals out there? Well, that's kind of a loaded question. You know, when less than 8% of the current existing inventory are REOs, foreclosures, or short sales. Pete, I'm just telling you right now, buddy, even if it was an REO or a short sale, the loss mitigator or the negotiator or the asset manager is going to require that they get top dollar, regardless of condition, as far as the property is concerned. It would have to be missing the roof and all the flooring and most of the walls for them to really concede as far as value is concerned. So are there any deals out there? Get them before they get to the market. So if you know someone that knows someone that knows someone, really that's probably the only way you're going to get, quote unquote, really a considerable deal. Jeff from Clovis asked, there is a home we really like, but it needs new carpet, and we'd like a stove and some window coverings. The price of the home's about $10,000 less than we're pre-approved for. Can we finance in these items? Well, it's kind of a loaded question. How do we finance home improvements? What if the home is being sold at market value? There's a lot of questions that we need to ask, so it's really difficult to tell whether you can finance them in. There are vehicles out there, a 203K loan, right, Tim, that it gives you the ability to be able to finance.
Yeah, there's two different kinds, actually. There's one that Streamline, which is a lot easier, a lot quicker, which would fall into this guy's case. Because it's mainly cosmetic items, and so it is pretty quickly that you can get that taken care of.
So in answering the question, it's a government-insured loan that does give you the ability to be able to finance repairs, whether it's a Streamline or a full-blown 203K that really allows you to be able to do pretty much anything, add rooms.
Right. And there's credit qualifications for those types of programs, so talk to your loan officer. Awesome. Make sure that you get qualified.
Or give them a call, exactly. Yeah. And Sam from Prather asked, my mother is looking to downsize and sell her home, and she's going to net about $80,000 from the sale of her home. You know, I've heard that you can use a reverse mortgage to purchase a home. It's ironic because we just talked about this not too long ago. And is it true that you won't have to make any payments? Yes.
For the most part, yes.
Yeah, you can use a reverse mortgage to purchase a home. I don't say to cancel the debt because your mortgage payment, all it means is that you have about 50% equity. It is deferred. You're still responsible for making the tax and insurance payment as far as the property is concerned, so the property doesn't go into tax default, and as well that the homeowner's insurance is paid. But yes, you can. It is. It's probably one of the most amazing government-insured programs that I have seen, above and beyond an FHA loan. You can also use that same loan to refinance your property. Let's say you do have an $1,100 a month mortgage. $800 of that is principal and interest. To actually cancel that payment out, you'd still be responsible again for the taxes and insurances. But if you've got, as a general rule, at least 50% equity in that property based upon today's current market value, or what the property is appraised for.
And your age.
You've got to be at least 62. So again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or questions about the information that we share with you on our show today, give us a call anytime. 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. Check out our resources online. Go to our website and search for your next home for free at valleywidesells.com. A big thank you to my special guest host, Glenn Siemens, CEO and owner of Arise Solar. You know, call Arise Solar today at area code 559-449-8989 and tell them that you heard it here on the Real Estate Radio Network. And also, or if you don't want to call, you can go down to the home show today at the Fresno Fairgrounds and see the folks at Arise Solar, and they can talk you through exactly what it takes to put solar on your home. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions, don't forget to tune in next week to the Real Estate Radio Network at Sunday at 9 a.m. on News Talk 580 and 105.9. Local news, local talk. Make it a great East Central California, and we will see you next week.
The preceding is paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network.